yeah, I just really felt like, wow, this is a complete hole. Like, here I am, I don't know, whatever I was, 30-some years old when I had a baby. Never held a newborn. That felt like, wow, that was really dumb. Why did I do this?
Yeah, no, I thought I was ready. I thought I can do this. I can just put him right in daycare. I'll go back to work. It'll be no problem. Yeah, that was a big shock.
I did have a girlfriend who tried to tell me, and I was like, shut up. Like, I'm pregnant. I'm having like this spiritual experience.
I was a very ambitious young woman, born in '75, wore my Wonder Woman Wonderoos, and I was gonna change the world. And then I had a baby, and it was like, whoa, where's all this ambition go? And it went into my baby.
I've been teaching preschool for 15 years. I think seeing the parents coming in, they're so much more high-strung, and they're so much more nervous, and there's so much more anxiety around, did I pack them the right lunch? Did they wear the right clothes? Are they wearing the right shoes? Did I, if drop-off doesn't happen seamlessly, you can see this look of like, I'm sorry, and it's like, it's okay.
Parents really, some are kind of overkill, over-hovering, and I can feel their anxiety.
It's much harder now. I let my 4-year-old walk to pre-K. I would stand on the front porch and watch her. I could see the door to the pre-K. The teacher would wave at me when she had contact with the child, but she went by herself.
He rode his bike without a helmet when he was little, and he rode down the street and he fell down and he scraped, and then he got up and tried again. I think that has been something that has changed so much.
I came from coaching my son's soccer game, and one of the players came up to me during the game and said, I think we should tell people not to head the ball because there's a video on YouTube about how people die from heading the soccer ball.
With an only child, I feel like, the stakes are really high because I see my friends with 2, 3 children, and the second one, they just seem like experts with their second child, and their third child is just, it's a breeze, and, and I kind of want that, but, I'm not going to have that, so I try to relax about the one chance that I get, but the stakes are so high.
I kind of think the stakes are high, but I don't know that doesn't apply to everybody and every kid now. So I guess that would be an interesting discussion because what I observe is everybody is having the same thing, no matter how many kids they have.
You have to put them in this type of school, or you have to put them in this, or you have, like one thing I remember, you have to get a learning tower for your kitchen.
What's a learning tower?
It's just this super expensive thing that they can stand on and they won't fall out of. And like I remember crying because we could not afford a learning tower.
Oh my God.
My son's in 2nd grade, and 2nd grade is so stressful.
Yeah.
I don't remember once, really ever, my parents asking me if I had homework, had I done my homework, what the homework was. And now my son brings home homework. I work full-time, a fairly robust career that I love and enjoy, and I love time with him. But there's a real expectation for me to be involved with his homework.
Yes.
And I hear 3rd grade's really intense,
I mean, back then there's one parenting book, right?
Yeah, Dr. Spock. That's right.
When I was trying to figure out how to get my son to sleep the night, he's 4, and he still wakes up every night. And I read every sleep book I could think of, and it drove me insane. At some point, I closed them all and I gave them all away.
Parenting for me is like going to the grocery store. I'm reading all the labels. I'm looking at all the ingredients, and I'm seeing if that's going to work for us or not.
I have a Facebook friend who has a child who's a massive overachiever. And I'm so excited for them, but I work really hard every day to not project that onto myself or my son.
But from the other point of view, watching my grandchildren and watching what is available on the internet and watching how my daughter is very careful to what the kiddos are allowed to access. So that part is a little scary, definitely.
And I don't know if it's less safe than it used to be, but we have more information than we used to have.
I think that's what it is.
Fear is more than an emotion, it's a strategy.
Yep.
You can just go into Babies R Us and you will find a gadget for absolutely everything. And that transfers into news media and everything that permeates parenthood.
I had the contrast of having my baby in Los Angeles and moving to Sweden when she was a year old. and it was a culture. I thought I'd landed in heaven. I was like, oh my, you know, because LA, I was always trying to bust her like into invisibility. She was in the way. People were like, why is your baby screaming while we're trying to have our latte? You know, and it was just like, she wasn't really welcomed into public space.
Being from a country that offers some of the most lavish maternity coverages.
Where are you from?
Norway.
Mm-hmm.
And we're all you can have it all if you have a country that helps you have it all.
Yes.
You know, I just had a baby. She's very little. She had to go to daycare at 2 months. With no maternity or paternity leave at all. You know, and it's just, it's crazy, you know, when you think about it.
We don't have any family around. Every generation has like moved further away than the one before. And we want to just have a half hour for ourselves. You know, we would have to hire a babysitter for that.
Around that trend of fragmentation of families is absolutely enormous.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't know anything about parenting. I didn't have any family around. I'm an older parent. My mother was an older parent. And I mean, I haven't actually had anybody, I have 3 kids. I've not had a night away since the first one was born. Because who's going to watch them?
If I meet a mother, I don't know whether I should say, so do you stay at home with your child, or so do you work? Like, because which of those questions you ask could be offensive depending on who the person is.
If we don't compare adults, then why are we comparing parents and their parenting methods, and why are we comparing our children?
Why does everybody else have to do it the same way?
Yeah.
Right? Like, why is it that, you know, I'm the sort of, I'm more on the like free range end, so I'm like, oh, whatever, he can do that. But why am I not okay with somebody who's like, well, I would never let my kids do that, and I'd be like, okay, great. Have a good rest of your lunch.
I don't really believe there's mommy wars. I'm too damn busy and too, you know, to think about what you're doing. I don't care how you're raising your kid as long as it doesn't hurt my kid.
I mean, everybody loves to hate a bad mother. We don't, deadbeat dads, you know, so what? But there's nothing worse than a bad mother. And that's just, you know, that's social. I mean, that's society, and that's the power of society. And, you know, in small ways, we have to push back against that fervor.
I mean, that's where the judgment and all of that is happening, because people are like, what's wrong with me? And it's really, what's wrong with this system?
And the focus needs to be on that. Policy, society, you know, who's in charge, getting the right people in there who value families.
If we as society, beyond being mothers, something we can give to each other is lower expectations for everything.
You have to figure out what makes you feel bad, you know, and who makes you feel bad, and you have to, you know, shut those people out or shut down whatever, you know, media, you know, is doing that to you.
And at the end of the day, I also know that I have to shield myself from too much Facebook or this or that, because that will kind of trigger me into a certain way of being. And the very best decisions I ever make for my children are when I'm able to just let all that go and see what this child needs right now in this moment.